a scathing watchdog report shining a light on what it calls excessive travel expenses at the Chicago public school system. Among the findings, employees at the cash-strapped district spent millions on trips to Las Vegas and even overseas. What is up with this? Mike Tobin is live there in the Windy City. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, David. The Inspector General took a look at the travel expenses of teachers and principals in the Chicago public school systems and concluded that when the bank accounts were fat with COVID money, the staff ran wild. As you mentioned, trips to Egypt, Finland, Hawaiian resorts, even went on a safari, and there was no oversight to stop them. The amount spent on travel in 2021 was $300,000. It jumped up in 2022 to $3.4 million, doubled in 2023, and kept getting bigger in 2024. The report concludes that more scrutiny was put to whether the expense paperwork was done correctly than whether the expenses were excessive. As a result, more than 90% of the traveling employees went over the allowable limits. Oftentimes, lodging and airfare was double the allowable rate. One of the reasons the trips were not rejected is that they were not asking for approval. Of 15 international trips noted by the Inspector General, 12 were never submitted for approval. And then we start seeing wildlife trips, balloon rides, staff staying extra days for personal reasons, and this in a school district that claims a $700 million budget hole.
We do need more special ed teachers, but if you can think about the fact that $7.7 million in wasted taxpayer money for balloon rides and looking at giraffes and elephants could have gone to hiring 100 of those special ed teachers. These are the questions that we need to be asking.
This is crazy. This is why I always say, don't put people in charge of money that don't know how to handle money. What's sad is about this, man, Chicago is terrible. Chicago needs everything to be coming down to the end. There was a recent report, as you heard, the CPS Office of Inspector General found travel expenditures of $7.7 million in 2024, more than double. The thing that gets me is the travel spending included staff trips abroad, Egypt, Finland, South Africa. Many stayed in hotel rooms that exceeded spending limits. Why the hell y'all going to Europe and Africa? You guys are in Chicago. Why are you spending people's money from Chicago on your lavish trips? We need order. So why do you think that President Trump's sending all these people over there? It's because we finding out stuff about y'all that y'all need order. Y'all need daddy to come and put y'all in check. This is money that you guys get from the federal government that you're wasting. This is money that you get from taxes. This is money that you get from all these people, and this is what y'all do with it? But then y'all say y'all can't pay teachers. Then y'all say we don't have enough special ed teachers. But you spending all this money, $7.7 million. I think every teacher should be able to get $100, $125K off of that. What are we doing in Chicago? The worst thing about this is they have a black mayor. What's that showing everybody else? Black people can't lead. You can't give them money. This is what they do. It has to go down. They are in a $734 million deficit. Fiscal year proposed a $10.25 billion budget. The state revenue alone was $2.094 billion. What are we doing in Chicago? So now do you understand why Trump is coming to these cities? Because he know y'all crooks. He know y'all got your hands in the bucket. Y'all getting caught. But the worst thing is they got a black mayor. And he don't know what the hell he doing. When you hear him talking, he don't know what's what. He just asks for more and say, Trump, get out. But what are you saying about $7.7 million being spent on nonsense? But y'all got schools, that's bad. Come on, man. This is why I say, if you should be a mayor or if you should be in charge of that money, this is where you need to have a degree, a master's and a doctorate and doctors in how to balance a budget sheet. This is where you need the federal government to step in and say, you know what, we're gonna have our own people monitorizing the money that's going out. And we'll tell you what you can and can't get. So instead of you going through the state for money, you go through us for money. You wouldn't have Trump there if you knew how to run the ship. The guy that got there doesn't know how to run the ship. Whoever's in charge of the school district doesn't know how to run it. Superintendent, everybody got to go. This is when you need everybody just to go. Start clean slate. Bring some people in there that know what the hell they're doing. But it starts at the top, right? Mayor, what are you doing? What do you have to say about this? All I hear you saying is Trump don't need to be here. But your city's called Chirac for a reason, sir. What are we doing? Trips like safari and going to Vegas. What y'all leaving the city for when you in a deficit 700 million? Y'all need to be sitting down and figure out how to cut the budget. Y'all spend all that money and y'all not smart. Y'all spend all that money and y'all not putting a lot of kids into school. Y'all spend all that money and kids is coming out still shooting people. What are y'all spending the money for? Can we guess what the mayor is? Democrat. Yeah, we need more money to make the schools safe and make us smarter, but we going on safaris too. I'm tired of Democrats using kids to get money and they don't invest into the kids. If you're telling the federal government you're getting money to invest in the schools, make the streets safe, and they still not safe, and kids are still dumb and still flunking, I think you should stop asking for money. I think you should stop using kids as a source to get income. Because obviously, it's not working. Oh, how much of that money is going to illegal immigrants? Let's not talk about that, Chicago. You guys up there with California. But this is why it's just frustrating, man. You see, we can't say ain't no money in this country. There's a lot of money. It's just the wrong people that's in control of the money. There's so much money for a city to have a $10.25 billion budget. You can't tell me ain't no money in America. You can't tell me there's a recession. You can't tell me it's just the money's going to the wrong people. The money's not going to the people that need it. It's going straight to their pockets, and then they line their pockets up, then they give it to you. They give you the rest. And then they say, oh, we need more money. That wasn't enough. $7.7 million in 2024 going to safaris, Egypt, Finland, South Africa, and many hotel rooms. This is crazy. How do you have you're facing a long-term cost pressures, and you're building maintenance and backlog repairs. Figures like 14 billion cited, growing pension obligations, and increased costs for special education. Take care of home before you have fun. Nobody would trip if everything was cool in Chicago. They'd be like, all right, cool. Y'all rewarding yourself. Cool. You're doing a good job. But if you are in shambles like this, why are you still spending this money? And to be honest, 7.7 million is probably peanuts to somebody that got 10.25 billion. That's probably why we did it. But is that really all that we need to worry about? It's probably more. Under-enrolled schools, some schools are operating far below capacity and carry very high per student costs. For example, $50,000 or even $93,000 per student in extreme cases. The Inspector General found that CPS bookkeeping was deficient, records spread over multiple databases, and expenses approval often focus only on paperwork, not whether the trip or cost was worth it. This is why everything's going digital. Because of this. The old school way of paperwork is nah. I know there's more money that they're wasting, but they got to move across all data. It needs to be one system, digital. Now I can go ahead and type it up and see what you're spending money on. This is why this administration is pushing for digital. Everything digital, because it's easy to get the information. Just a little bit of information they got about SNAP, they found out all this fraud. So imagine everything was digital, they could just pull it up. You can't ask money from daddy and then get mad when daddy's asking you questions about how you're spending it. These states are crying, these cities are crying, saying we need more money, but then when we find out what you're spending the money on, you get mad. Like, we're not supposed to know. Do better. Come on, Mayor Johnson. Do better, because this is crazy. This is crazy.
Upon release of the Inspector General's report, Chicago Public Schools froze all overnight travel with this statement. This measure reflects our continued commitment to responsible financial stewardship and to prioritizing resources that directly support classrooms and students. As far as performance, less than half of 3rd to 8th graders are reading at grade level. Less than a quarter are proficient in math. Dana?
Mike, it sounds like there might be more of this where that.
There's for sure more. They're going to find more and more and more. This is what happens when you mess with the president. I'm going to start getting in your business now. I'm going to start seeing where this money's going. I'm going to put you out on front seat. Instead of you just saying, hey, we welcome President Trump. Hey, we love that you're here. Thank you for getting these people out of here. We tried, but we can't do it. See, this is why you need to understand negotiating. This is why you need to understand, let me shut my mouth and not go against this guy. Because if he opens the door and sees everything that we're doing wrong, we're screwed. This is what happens when you go against Trump and your house is dirty. 3rd to 8th graders, more than 50% of them can't read at grade level. Budget is $10.25 billion. What we doing, Chicago? What we doing with this? What we doing with all this money? This ain't just Chicago. Oh, it's LA too. It's Frisco too. There's a lot of blue states, blue cities that get all this money and they focus on the wrong things and they line in their pockets. But they say we're focusing on the kids. Focusing on the kids. But really, we just line in our pockets. Scam. I really feel that anybody that's in charge of the budget, anybody that's going to be a mayor, governor, needs to have some type of business status, business experience, business degree to understand how to do a budget and what a budget means. Instead of people telling you we need more money, you know why we need more money. And you know how to come in and split the money away. This is what I'm saying. $7.7 million on expensive trips when your kids, more than 50%, can't read below, that can't read at grade level. Good job, Chicago. I think Trump's in the right place.